Am I the a-hole for saying if dad's affair partner needs more help, it should come from her kids because I don't care about what happens to her? I, 16 male, live with my dad, his affair partner, now wife, and her 2 kids, 12 and 8. I have an older sister, 19 female, who's in college. What happened is that 4 years ago, my parents divorced because my mom, my sister, and I found out my dad was cheating. The affair partner's husband also found out about the affair. My mom and the affair partner's husband divorced their spouses, which left my dad and his affair partner to get married. The affair partner's ex stopped seeing the kids after he found out about the affair. And it's not because they are my dad's. They can't be, since the kids are a different race just like their dad. My sister and I turned our backs on my dad after we found out about the affair. Dad had been a good dad before the affair, but he stopped spending time with us and was always busy with work or in therapy outside of work instead of focusing on us. We later found out why. My mom got primary custody of us, and that was a huge relief. But mom died unexpectedly last year, and then I had no choice but to move in with dad and his affair partner. They tried to convince my sister to move in too, but she was going away to college and wanted nothing to do with them. When dad's affair partner suggested she should stay a while, my sister told her to die. Then she blocked my dad on her phone and only talks to me. We talk almost every day, and I keep her updated on how awful it is living with them. My dad made me go to therapy with them, but the therapist fired us because I wouldn't engage, and my dad insisted she find some way to help us. My dad and I argued, and I told him I didn't want to try or make things work. He told me we needed to because I couldn't hide behind my mom anymore. He said he was sorry for upsetting me and my sister, but we should try to understand that he fell in love. I told him I didn't care, and that I was only there until I didn't have to be, and then I'd do what my sister did. I do have other family, but none in the same state, and that's a big deal. My grandparents tried to get custody of me, but apparently, being 16, it doesn't matter because being out of state and having a living parent makes that a huge no. Now my dad and his affair partner are expecting a baby, and she has a bunch of complications. She has been sick a lot, bleeding a lot, and apparently her blood pressure is really bad. My dad and she wanted me to help her out when I get back from school and take care of things until my dad gets back, but I said no and ignored them. I actually just come home late after school, and if she asks me to get her water or whatever when I'm at the house, I ignore her. They told me how serious all of this is, that she could die and a baby could die, and that I need to help because of how serious this is. I told them they should ask her kids for help because I don't care what happens to her. I said I don't even want to be here and never want to be here. I told them they were sick and that they needed to leave me alone because they weren't making a family out of the mess they created. They went nuts about how her kids are younger and how I should care for any human life. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Your father is an absolute POS. Instead of helping you grieve your mother, he decided to add another problem to your life by impregnating his affair partner. But what else can be expected from a cheater? He thought mom dying would get me and my sister back in his life. He didn't expect my sister to block him and for me to keep the walls up and the emotional distance going. But he proved to us how crappy he is, and we don't want to be a part of his new family. I wonder if his affair partner is freaking out that he'll cheat now that she's basically stuck doing nothing most of the day. 12-year-old too young to fetch a glass of water? Dad and affair partner are vile, and her kids may be a tad bit entitled. Not the a-hole. I don't think the kids are entitled. I think she just doesn't want to ask. Yeah, maybe entitled goes too far. We don't know their side. She's certainly enabling them in that direction though. I think the oldest has some issues with dad's affair partner because of the cheating and breaking up their family too. It doesn't look like they're too close. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my parents they'll lose my brother if they can't accept he doesn't want to date after losing his wife? My brother, 34 male, became a widower 8 years ago, and since then, he has remained single and has expressed that he does not wish to date or marry again. He has 2 children with his late wife who are 13 and 11, about to be 12. For about 4 years now, my parents have questioned why he doesn't try to meet a nice woman, or why he isn't finding more lady friends to spend time with, to quote them. His answer has always been that he does not wish to find anyone else. My brother attended grief therapy for a number of years. My parents refused to believe it did what it was meant to, because if it had, he'd be remarried long before now, and that's their stance. For a while now, they have been pushier about the topic. They have expressed to him that he should have looked to give the kids a mother figure far sooner. And they told him all the reasons he should have remarried, including the fact that he and his late wife had wanted 5 kids, and that he has 2 but could have more with another wife. He told them he didn't want children with another woman, and he didn't want another wife, girlfriend, or lover. They have pleaded with him to at least date, whether one woman or multiple women, but to have a romantic life again. I'm in my brother's corner, and I told our parents they needed to leave it alone. He's an adult who is perfectly capable of making his own decisions. They said he's not doing what's best for him and that I shouldn't be supporting him and martyring himself for the rest of his life. They believe it's unhealthy to commit to only loving one person when they died so young. They said he has so much life left, and it's ruined the chances for the kids to have a second mom. But he could still grow his family and find another love. I told them they could want that for him. They could wish it, but they could not force it. I told them they need to respect him enough as an adult to accept his choice, even if they don't like it. And I reminded them that things could change in the future, but it wouldn't be right to force it and could cause more pain for him and a partner. After a particularly nasty fight when they pushed him, he said it'd be taking some time and that he didn't want to hear from them unless it was an apology. Once my brother was gone, I told our parents they were pushing him away. They started to argue, but I didn't let them finish. I told them I know they love my brother and that they want what they think is best for him, but he disagrees about what's best for him. And I pointed out yet again that he's an adult. I said that if they keep pushing the topic, they will lose him. He will pull away forever, and he won't accept an apology or give them a second chance. He will shut the door and refuse to see them because they will not let it go. I told them that he tries to change the topic so it doesn't end in a fight, but they always bring it back. That he has tried walking away, but they follow. I told them the next logical step is that he'll stop speaking to them, and I asked them if that was really what they wanted. My parents said the way I framed things made it sound as though I wanted him to stop speaking to them. They said it sounded like I'd encourage it, and they said it doesn't allow for their love and concern for him being alone. Am I the a-hole? Good on you both for shutting down your parents. As much as they might mean well, their insistence that the kids need a mother sounds more like they're concerned about what other people think of the family dynamic, rather than what's actually best for them. If anything, having kids should make someone much more particular about who and when they start dating. Your brother shouldn't feel pressured to bring anyone into their lives just for the sake of it, even when he does feel ready, which could be soon or could be never. Not the a-hole. I don't think this is about concern over other people's opinions. At least they have never expressed anything close to that. They just feel the 3 of them would be happier if my brother had found someone and the kids had a mother figure in the home with them. That's what they believe would be better. They don't see how it could be far worse overall. So really, I think they're just projecting what they feel onto my brother. They're so focused on getting your brother to find a mother figure for the kids. But have they ever spoken to the children to get their opinion on the matter? They may not even want a mother figure and might be happy with how things are right now. Or is it also a case of screw their feelings? We know what's best for everyone. They haven't spoken to the kids, but I know from conversations that they don't want another mom. The topic was brought up because of things kids said at school that bothered them, and they admitted they didn't want another mom. They hate the idea of someone trying to take their mom's place like that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for saying this to a woman who wished death on my kids? I, 30 female, have been married to my husband, 29 male, for 3 years, and we've been together for 9 years in total. We share 2 beautiful kids, 3 female and 7 male, and he has a child from his previous relationship, 11 male. That's where the issues lies. 11 male's mother is a heinous human being. When she found out I was pregnant with my son, she took the son she shares with my husband, cut all contact, and told my husband that since he had a new child on the way, he should just focus on that instead of their child together. She went missing with the child for 3 months and was found by our PI in Texas, where she was summoned for a court hearing regarding custody. She was granted 40% custody, and my husband was granted 60% custody and physical custody, meaning wherever dad lives, the child will go to school in that district. All the while, she was verbally harassing me and blaming me for having to go to court, saying I wanted her son so bad. That is the farthest from the truth. Fast forward and I get pregnant with my daughter. Her verbal abuse has not stopped. She and I had words because I told her she needed to leave us alone and stop harassing us. She wished death on my, at the time, unborn daughter and called my son stupid because he has autism. I was recording the conversation so I wouldn't lose my temper, and I was 7 months pregnant. At a time in 2020, she met a financially stable man, 34 male, with 3 daughters. She started going on lavish vacations, and suddenly we were broke, bitter, jealous, and miserable. Because we couldn't live like her, simply because my husband asked for help with her son's medical payments as stated in the court order. One of the teachers at her son's school called CPS due to domestic violence in her home. And she blamed me, of course, even though I knew nothing about what was happening to her. The case was found undetermined due to a lack of evidence, but her household was deemed moderately safe on 3-level scale, moderate being in the middle. Fast forward, we moved somewhere in the same county as her, but the school was about 30 minutes away from her home and 5 minutes from ours. Life happened, and we ended up having to move closer to my mother due to her health. Of course, the mother refused to transport her child to and from school on her scheduled days. Wednesday night, Thursday, and every other Friday. Again, the verbal abuse continued, calling us pieces of trash, saying we would never be her, blah blah blah. She never took accountability for her wrongdoings. She maliciously mentioned my children again, saying she hoped my kids would die and that they would never last in this world with a mother like me. Then I remembered her grandpa, who raised her, had died less than 6 months ago. In response to her poison about my children, I told her I would dig her daddy up and piss in his mouth for the way she was talking about my kids. Would I really do that? No, absolutely not. But I wanted to cut her the same way she was cutting me. She started crying on the phone. I do kind of feel bad, but a part of me doesn't at the same time. Am I the a-hole? Now for the comments. No, definitely not the a-hole. You definitely wouldn't be doing that. When such an a-hole of a person won't leave you alone, you gotta do something to kick him out of your life. Good job, girlie. You were pushed to your limit. Wishing death on your kids is beyond cruel, and it's understandable that you reacted strongly. When someone resorts to wishing death on kids, they've clearly lost all senses of decency. Your reaction makes sense. Definitely not the a-hole. People love to dish out, but cry as soon as you match their energy. Was it mean? Yes, but so were her comments about your actual living children. To answer some of the questions. 1. Were you and your husband having an affair? No. I moved to a new city and knew nobody. So I went to Facebook and added a lot of people from the city I was in that were around my age. That's how I found my husband. I never knew any of them existed prior to being with him. 2. Courts or police? Yes, there is an open custody case, and we are waiting for the day to arrive. Yes, there is an open lawsuit I have against her. Yes, it involves 9 to 10 years worth of documentation. 3. Where is your husband? My husband is here. He works 12-hour shifts, and we deal with these things together. When I'm on the phone with her, he is in the room responding as well. The mother does not want to go back to court. She has stated this many times. She's trying to fight for a way to cease and desist. 4. Why respond to her at all? How else am I supposed to get documentation to show her craziness to the courts and prove she's unstable? Patience is key, but yes, it does come at a price. 5. Why stoop to her level at all? I'm typically not a vengeful person. I'm very nonchalant and laid back. I don't like fighting or arguing. But what I don't like more is abuse toward children. I saw red. I apologize. I know what I said wasn't right. But if someone said that about your child or children, how would you react? Last story. Am I the a-hole for supporting my friend who unalived a man? I'm having an argument within my friend group and I'm basically being told I'm sick in the head. Long story short, I have a friend I went to college with and have stayed casual friends with for about 12 years. He's not a part of my immediate friend group, but we talked every now and then. I mainly saw him every time I went to the doctor's, which isn't very often since he worked there and had talked to him. I'd call him Jeff for the sake of this story. Jeff shot his sister's boyfriend in the face. He did this because he found out his sister's boyfriend was essaying his 6-year-old daughter. His sister was responsible for babysitting his daughter while he was at work, and that's when the essay was occurring. Jeff found out because his daughter told him. Jeff then, probably without thinking and in a fit of rage, called his sister and asked her to have her boyfriend come outside with his daughter's Nintendo Switch, which he had left her that day. Jeff then offed him in the alley. I don't think Jeff is wrong. I don't blame Jeff for what he did. And I don't look at him as an evil person. I don't have any sympathy for his sister's boyfriend. I support Jeff. My friends think that I don't have morals because Jeff is a murderer. They don't believe any murder is justifiable. One of my friends, who is very religious, says that Jeff is going to hell, and the two wrongs don't make a right. My argument is that Jeff and his daughter are the victims here, and that while murder is wrong, Jeff did what a lot of fathers, and mothers for that matter, would probably do in his shoes. My friends say I'm messed up for condoning it and supporting a murderer. 2 of my friends are on my side, but 6 aren't. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I should have included this. Jeff is 5 years into a 12-year sentence. There's no chance my friends would ever have to be around him, so it's not that they're scared I'm going to bring him around or anything. Kind of a shame Jeff is going to prison for taking out the trash, but I get it. Anyone who touches a child should be thrown into a wood chipper. Not the a-hole. I'm hoping he can get out early. That's the only sad part of this, missing out on seeing his little girl grow up. Very true, but at least he has the comfort of knowing that she won't be victimized again by that particular POS. Hopefully her aunt is also never allowed anywhere near her. Not the a-hole, it was justified. Some people just don't need to exist. This was part of my argument. I don't have any sympathy for pedos and rapists. Morality shouldn't apply to those who don't have it. I have sympathy for Jeff and his daughter. Not the a-hole. Jeff did what most parents would do in a blind rage after finding out something so horrific. While murder is legally and morally wrong, it's hard to call someone a monster for protecting their child in such an extreme situation. Your friends are focused on the letter of morality, but you're acknowledging the human instinct for justice and protection. 2 very different perspectives. That's what I think too. Like, I don't blame him at all for what he did. I can't really argue with my religious friend because I'm not religious.